me about being nationally ranked. First time in program history. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, coming out in the preseason rankings, I think it's just a testament to our team, to our program, to our players, and what they've accomplished. Really, that's just the result of the last 3 or 4 seasons, right? It's been a slow build and a slow build, so I think it was really gratifying for them to see some recognition for the hard work and the labor. But after the initial, like, oh, that's awesome, that's really cool, we still got to go to work, and so we don't put a ton of stock in it in the sense of it doesn't add pressure, it doesn't add or take away value from who we are, what we're doing, but it is an acknowledgement of hard work and our culture and our process, and a recognition of, the 24 season.
So what is it, to follow up on what you said, why is it better talent, or is it the experience the girls have?
I would say yes, all of the above. There's a talent, there's experience, I think culture. Our team is really tough. We've talked about our identity and who we are, and we want to play fast, which is fun, assertive, smart, and tough. And I think when we are embodying that on the field and living into who we truly are, our best self, our true identity as a team, individually and as a whole program, we're pretty good softball players, and we're pretty good on the field. And so I think that it's just I think culture stands the test of time, and it's a slower build. It's not the sexy build, but it's a combination of all of that and a lot of belief in our team and our players.
Where do you think the team grew the most with last year's run and the experience they got?
I was so impressed with how our team handled postseason for the first time. It was taking the field at Tennessee. There was not any hint of intimidation. There was not any hint of nerves or fear. I know they were feeling it, but the way they handled that, it was very professional. It was like we had been there before. So I was really impressed by that. And I do think that is the result of going to work every single day. You feel prepared when you put in the time. Coach Jay said this to the team the other day, is you're prepared for your moment when you practice every day like it's your moment. And so you never get to a highlight or a big light situation and feel nervous or fearful, because you've been practicing with intent every single day. And so I just think that was the result of going to work every single day with intent.
What do you like about this year's team, and what do you expect to see from your girls?
We have a lot of experience back on the field, which is kind of exciting. We graduated a class that was really important to us. From the vision side, they stayed, they believed, and they carried the mission of the program forward. This year we have a lot of returning players on the field that have a ton of at-bats. They have a ton of innings under their belt, which is exciting and really, really, I think, important for us going into a really tough schedule by design. So I like that. I like the experience. I like that our fall was a challenge of leadership. Who's going to step in? Who's going to lead? We actually named captains for the first time in my career here. And that was really important because it empowered a few players on our team to kind of lean into some leadership. And I think it took some pressure off of some other players that were feeling like, what do we do? And how do we take the reign? When you lose someone like Leah Boggs, there can be a challenge to fill that gap. But I think what was exciting for me is that no one's trying to be Leah Boggs. We're trying to be true to who we are and lead the way that this team needs to be led. So that was really exciting and new. And I just think there's a cohesiveness about this group that's really, really exciting and really comforting and puts a lot of peace going onto the field. I think they really want to play for each other. Our theme this year is Ubuntu, and it means I am because you are. And knowing that I have to be at my best every day for you to be at your best, and that we can be at our best when everyone individually is living into their true identity.
Why did you name captains, and who are they?
We named captains because we felt like it was important for us as a staff to empower a few players on the team, to kind of give them permission to lead and to be themselves. And again, I think every team is really different and needs different things. So this year, that was just what we decided, and I think it's gone really well. That was an organic decision that took us the whole fall to get there. So it was something that we really thought about and talked about. We discussed with the team and the players, and so it was not a impulse decision. It was this is what this team needs. Our captains are Kaylin Jones and Jade Hilton and Kamira Woody-Gidgets. So those are our 3 captains.
What's the energy with the team just like right now ahead of the new season starting up and after the record-breaking one you guys had last year?
The team is chomping at the bit right now, ready to get on the field. You do a ton of inter-squad in January, spring training. Doesn't feel like spring yet weather-wise, but they're chomping at the bit to go play someone else. I think there's a real understanding that the best feedback we're going to get is when we just put ourselves up against somebody else. And so can we attack a plan? Can we adapt a plan? We've invested a lot of time on failure recovery. So how are we going to bounce back and respond when things don't go our way? And we've manipulated practice a lot to force our athletes to respond with okay, what's next? What's next? Coach Bennett came and spoke to the team last week, and he said something that was really impactful. It's just that no back seats. Like, we're not taking any back seats. And so I think there's a confidence in our team that is, it's quiet, but it's very real. We are very excited about the opportunity that we have on our schedule, which is tough, as I mentioned before. But there's a no back seats mentality here, and that's exciting to me. So I think I will see what success will look like for us going into opening weekend is when this team is walking onto the field, like fully embracing and owning who we are, and with no reservations about going and being the team that we know we can be.
And you mentioned having some returners back. So what kind of impact does that just have on the team this year for getting all that experience back for you guys?
Experience is one piece that you can't hurry that up. You can't speed that up. You have to go through it. You have to go through the 0 for 12 weekends. You've got to give up the game-winning home run. You have to, make the base running mistake to learn. And so with experience comes a lot of failure and recovery and a lot of confidence. And so I think that is just vital to where we are this year. And so, and in our fourth year class all the way down, fourth years, third years, and second years, that's just a lot of at-bats and a lot of innings played on a stage, right? Everyone was out there. Everyone that's on the team outside of our freshmen were on the field in Tennessee. And so I think that experience in and of itself, it makes you hungry for more. But they've executed at a high clip against great opponents. And so I think it just gives us confidence going into, the first couple weekends.
You mentioned that Coach Bennett spoke to the team. How did that come about? Did you reach out to him, and did it help that he's got maybe a little bit more time on his hands than he usually does this time of year?
I will have to say I have reached out to Coach Bennett more in the last couple of months than I ever have at this time of the year, because he has a little more time on his hands. So he came and just spoke to the team about our identity, about being true to who we are, and about knowing who you are. He gave us a quote. I might butcher this quote, so I apologize. It's the world will ask you who you are, and if you don't have the answer, it will tell you. And so I think the point of that is you have to be really clear about who you are individually and how you were made and what you were created for and who you were created to be, because there's a lot of lies out there telling you you're not good enough, you're not tall enough, you're not whatever, fill in the blank enough. And it's really easy to fall into that in an industry that is very results oriented and outcome based, particularly with social media, where you're seeing everybody's highlight reel every day, and there's a lot of comparison. And so I thought the message was really powerful. And he talked about the loss, we call it the loss, and he talked about what he learned from that and some exercises he did with his team. And I just, Coach is he's really humble, and he's a truth teller. And I just really appreciated that about him. And our players were really impressed. He knew our season. He knew what we did last year. He was very aware of the season we had and the regional and how impactful that was for our program. And I don't know if they realized he's been watching from afar. And I think that was really impactful. And I knew he was watching from afar because of my relationship with him and my friendship with him. But it was really, I think, impactful for our team to see that he knew our path and our journey, and he's really excited to continue tracking that.
You talked about Leah Boggs. Obviously, she brought leadership,
Yeah.
also stability at that catcher position, the ability to manage the pitchers. What's the plan, I guess, at that spot?
Yeah.
And do you think a couple different players could potentially try to replace her by committee?
Yeah, definitely. So there's no replacing Aaliyah Boggs as the person, and as she was kind of our field general and our commander, probably our unofficial captain last year. I do think Sarah Kuhn and Sydney Hartgrove will divide time. I think some of them, they're both great at catching certain pitchers, and they're comfortable and confident. Different parts of the plate in different zones, so I could see them both splitting that time. And Leah, we run a 2-catcher system, we always have, and so Leah caught the majority, but we definitely don't catch back-to-back games in a doubleheader. It's a lot on your catchers, so that will be true to who we are. But I think I could see that being divided up a little bit more. behind the dish. So in terms of our leadership, what the kind of the intangibles that Leah brought, it has been a real pleasure to watch our team blossom and become that. And we still like to have fun. We still like to enjoy our time on the field, but different voices and different people have been speaking into our team identity, and that's been a real pleasure. Again, you're not going to replace, but you're going to kind of, this team will become who this team is intended to be, and that's really cool. So.
Eden has been just spectacular basically since she got here. Where have you challenged her to still try to improve her game as she goes into year 3?
Yeah, Eden has room for growth in the zones, so she can go up really well. She does off speed really well. You know, we've been working on the down, we've been working on splitting the plate side to side, and so as she continues to develop her pitching repertoire, particularly the bottom of the zone, she's going to be even more difficult for opponents to plan for and to attack. And so that has really been the challenge. And really, Coach Jay's done an incredible job of developing and planning for her and preparing her. And all of our pitching staff, I think every single pitcher is adding to their arsenal. You cannot go against the best teams in the country with one trick, with one thing. You know, you might be able to go for a couple outs, 6 outs, but you're not going to make 9 to 12 outs on one thing. The hitters and the offenses are too good. So, and the zones are too accurate at this point. So I think that every pitcher has been evolving and growing, developing the off speed, throwing to multiple zones, and again, increasing their toolkit, because offenses are really good, and Coach Jay's done a really good job preparing them.
Last one for me, obviously, the run to the NCAA tournament last year. How does that help prepare this team entering the season with so many players back who not only know what it took to get there, but also having the experience of being there?
Yeah.
What it takes to get there?
Oh, it's clear. It was clear the second we came back from Tennessee that's the new normal. Like, that's not a one time, that's not a 1 year, that's not a one season, not a fluke, or not a just one exceptional season. That's the standard. And so I think how we get there, you know, how we attack our goals this year, the path might look a little bit different because every schedule is different, opponents are different, everyone's retooling and reloading, and so the way we get there might be a little bit different, but no doubt about it, that's the new normal, and I think that was made really, really clear the day we got back, but then day one in August. So
Just one other question for me. In recruiting, has the ballpark, has that helped the facility here help recruit better players?
Eden and Jade were recruited during COVID, and we were able to send them pictures of this facility. And I have to say, I believe, you can ask Eden if you wanted to, but I believe their recruitment to Virginia was largely impacted by Palmer Park and the commitment of the university to softball and knowing that they were going to play in this beautiful facility. So I have to believe that the success of our recruiting classes over the last 3 to 4 years is a direct result of this facility, 100%.
Cool.